All right, this is Art Jonak, and I am sitting here in Oslo, Norway. We just had an amazing couple of days with two gentlemen that are sitting, one to my left, one to my right. And on my left, we've got Mr. Orion Sala, who's been an amazing friend, a mentor, and a great leader in business and in network marketing for many successful years. And then to my right, I have another big O, and that's Orrin Woodward, who has co-written the book Launching a Leadership Revolution with Mr. Chris Brady. But even more importantly, has become a leader of leaders, has created the results specifically in network marketing and in business. And today's topic is going to be mentorship. Specifically, why should we seek out mentorship? How important can that really be in achieving our end results, our goals in life in all areas? So thank you for being here today in a beautiful summer day in Oslo, by the way.
Thank you so much for having us here, Art.
Glad to be here.
So let's start with the idea, like when I first got, really started in network marketing, I was this young guy who, in my mind, saw people walk across the stage, they're having success, they were making the bonus checks, and all I could look at was, man, if they can do it, I can do it. And I wasn't going to be willing to listen because I figured they did it their way. To look at them, I'm cooler, I'm hipper, I'm smarter, I'm faster. I had a huge ego, and I'm going to go figure this out my way. And I frankly was not willing to listen to anybody that had success because I thought I was going to just do it faster. I mean, that's where I was.
You know what? It's amazing how many people, they get started in business, get started in networking, and you don't know what you don't know. And that's why you don't have. And so when you come in with the mindset, you see someone else achieving success, and you're like, well, I'm going to go out and do the same thing. Well, in order to do the same thing, you might want to leverage the concept that they have certain ways of thinking that have produced those results. And if you're going to do the same thing without borrowing some of the information and some of the thinking that they have, you're taking the long road because you're about ready to start a plan, do, check, and adjust, a process of learning. And you're starting from zero versus saying, hey, since you're already 10 miles ahead of me on this marathon, do you mind if I run with you for mile 10? And then borrow some of your experiences along that journey.
Mm-hmm. So the first step would be to be open to actually learning.
Humility.
I know that sounds silly, but I wasn't. Maybe some of you listening may not be.
I had a different perspective because doing network marketing across the ocean over here in Norway, when I joined in, I knew basically that my two uncles were in and they'd been in for a few more weeks than me, and we didn't have anybody to follow. So I was like, the first day I put my feet on American soil and came to a Big Al workshop, I finally found somebody on stage that knew something. So I was happy to take all of their advice, and I was just trying to get as much information as possible.
Well, in summary, Orion had a lot more success sooner than I did. So the first clue here is, don't be like Art Jonak, shut down to learning. Be hungry like Orion, and maybe as you're listening to this, you already fall into the hunger level, so I congratulate you for that. So would we say that's step one? Be open? Hunger.
Absolutely, and just a note there, and that is that the guy I did meet when we came to the US was Mr. Art Jonak, and he introduced me to one of my first mentors, Randy Gage, which really put some of that understanding of a system behind everything too, and took us under his wing and said, hey, come with me, spend a weekend with me, and I'll teach you exactly how to do it, and you can follow in my footsteps, which was kind of the first mentoring process I went into network marketing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when we first met, you guys, you and Hans and Tim had a book by Big Al, and they had one copy. And what they did is they tore it into 3 segments, and each one of you read a third of the book, so none of you would have actually read the entire book before the other 2.
That is true, and we didn't know if this was the last book or the only book on earth, so we just wanted to get that information.
So
you mentioned hunger, Orrin. Define hunger for us.
First of all, to be hungry, it requires humility, because a hungry individual is someone that knows that they don't know everything, so that they're hungry to learn. Only someone that's seeking answers is a hungry individual. So when you already think you know everything, of course you're not hungry. No matter what the speaker says, I know that, or I've got my own spin on that, or I've got my own way of thinking. So hunger begins with humility to say, you know, the more I can learn and the more I can leverage other people's experiences, the less I have to go through those experiences myself. And every time you have to go through experience, it costs you time. So if you want to go fast, like Orion went very fast in the business because he was hungry. I mean, when you take a book and you tear it into three, you know those are some hungry individuals. So they're seeking answers because they know their limit is based upon the limit of their knowledge that they can apply. So the more information they gathered, the more they could apply and the faster they could go. So to me, you've got to be hungry. If you're listening to this and you're thinking you have all the answers, that's probably one of your biggest problems.
And you define hunger. At one point I heard you say the hunger is the gap between where you are today, that's your existing life, and where you want to go, which is your dreams. And the bigger that gap between where you are and where you want to go, that's what you defined as hunger. So in Orion's case, his hunger was huge. And he immediately translated that into saying, I'm seeking knowledge. My hunger was huge, and I said, I know all the answers at age 20.
So every day, expand that dream. Every day, you're expanding the vision of where you see your future. Vision is tomorrow's reality expressed as an idea today. And so you have that big vision out there, and then you look at where you're at confronting reality today and say, man, this has got to change. And somebody out there, the crazy thing about mentoring is somebody out there already has the answers to the issue you're struggling with.
Real quick, if you ran across Art Jonak and he was in your organization at age 20 when I said I knew it all and I wasn't listening, would you just have said, plug in? But what could you have done with me if my mind was closed?
Well, the first thing I would do is I would focus on coming upside of Art and making a relationship, getting a friendship to where when Art stumbles, which he will, if Art has all the answers, then he'd already have all the results, and since he didn't, we know he didn't have all the answers.
I have scar tissue all over my body to verify that I stumbled a lot.
Now, but if somebody's there to help pick you up when you fall, in other words, not saying I told you so, not beating you up or laughing at you, but at that moment saying, then Art can say, Orion loves me where I am and sees me where I can be.